Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. We'll be with you in about 4 minutes when the timer runs down and it's actually 3 o'clock, and then we'll have a look at everyone's entries to the rocket race and see who's won. I'm kind of excited, even though I already know that mine has failed, but I'm looking forward to seeing if anyone has actually managed to complete it properly. So we shall find out in a few minutes. Oh, I don't seem to have a game screen. Let me fix that. One moment, please. Yes, so welcome everyone. Hello and welcome to Laurence Plays. Thank you for joining. I've just upgraded Factorio and therefore I don't have the therefore it hasn't recognised the new window. So there we go. There's the game. Right. So thank you very much for joining. This is the part 2 of the stream. So yesterday we all started off on doing a rocket race, and the challenge was to build a factory that would be capable of building a rocket as quickly as possible, but without actually being able to feed any kind of components into it. So we've got an example. This is the first one that I'm going to be looking at, and as you can see, all the belts are completely empty, but there's a load of machinery has been put down all over the place. It's going to hopefully run through and do all of the do everything that needs to be done in order to build, as I say, to build a rocket. So there's a few. Try again. So over here we've got the various different options of various different inputs you can get. So we've got stone coming through here, coal, iron ore, copper ore, uranium ore, and then water and oil down at the bottom here. And each of these can then be split off, and the person who's made the factory can use them however they want in order to try and build their rocket. Which one have I got loaded at the moment? Let's see. Let's start off with this one. Load that game. Right, I'm standing in the wrong place. Let's get back over to the start of it again. So up. Oh yeah, I think I did have the right one loaded already. Okay, good. So there've been a number of entries to this, as you can see here. So each person has gone through, built their factory, and then submitted a save game with the with their factory in it, and we're going to work through them all in order and see which one does the best. So we've got. Tristan is one of the mods, I should probably mention. So he's actually had 2 goes at it, but that's okay because he's not eligible to win because he's one of the mods, so it's not allowed. But he did manage the fastest time. So the factory I've got open at the moment is the one that he managed to build in 53 minutes. Next up was Peter, who managed to build one in 1 hour 17. So it took a little bit longer. We'll find out whether that one works. I also took 1 hour 17, but I had a slight advantage because I didn't have to download and re-upload the save games, so I'm gonna count myself as being slightly slower than Peter. Tristan's second attempt, which he did yesterday, took 1 hour and 19. Now that was a slightly different one because thanks to some suggestions from Mike in the admin team, he was trying to do it with, I believe, no pipes used at all, which is going to be interesting to see. An entry from somebody with a load of programming languages as their name, or web dev languages at least, at 1 hour 51, Mark at 2 hours, Syntaxis at 2:49, Upfire at 3, Mike at 4 hours, and he was also being weird. He decided to try and do his without any belts, so that's going to be interesting to see. And then Peter, finally, we've got an interesting one. Peter had an additional go at it as well, and I put it down as tested because this was one he'd built sort of carefully, and then he tested it and fixed it, and so this is basically more or less guaranteed to work because he's tested it, and he's going to serve as an example of what it would look like if it was done perfectly, or at least very carefully and generally correctly. So the way I'm planning to judge these is I'll set each one going in turn, and we'll see how they get on. And if they succeed, the person who managed the fastest time for both the build and runtime combined will win. If none of them succeed, then it's going to be the person whose factory requires the fewest tweaks in order to actually work. So we'll see how it goes. What's chat be saying? Yes, Peter says he's failed due to a single missing power pole. So I'll put that one back in, and that if that does work and nobody else wins and nobody else manages to do it straight off, then that might well be the win. We shall see. HTML's got a silly fail as well. No pipes, no pumps. It's going to be interesting. So we'll see how it goes. Right, so let's set this one going first. So this is Tristan's first entry, the one that he played under actual sort of proper game conditions. So when I turn this combinator on, all this stuff will start to flow. Power will be supplied to the base. So we can now watch as all of the ores, well, all the liquids are flowing down here. So we're going to start doing the processing. We've got a certain amount of iron coming down here from the top there. I don't see any plastic coming out there, but I think that's because he's forgotten to put coal in, and there's no coal being taken from up there. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. I'm afraid that's going to be a rather major fail there, I'm afraid. However, his smelting stations are working quite nicely, churning out a decent supply of iron and copper. We've got that coming down. I instinctively ran round the uranium patch because in one of the mods we're playing, it can be a bit dangerous and kill you. So what's going on down here? So we're making the sulfuric acid down here from presumably sulfur being made in here, presumably. No, there's no water coming in, so it looks like the water is broken as well, I'm afraid. Yes, those 2 underground pipes are not connected. So there we go. There's a problem. But anyway, this is then flowing on over this way. We're getting the iron and the copper flowing in over here, making green circuits. That's going quite nicely. Those are presumably being made into or at least supposed to be being made into a trickle of red circuits, but that doesn't seem to be. Oh yes, because there's no plastic coming in because there's no coal for that. So unfortunately the red circuits will not be made, which means that the speed modules down here won't be made, and the blue circuits won't be made. So that, unfortunately, I'm afraid there's quite a few problems with this factory. But if we come all the way down to here, we've got the rocket silo down here, and it's picking up rocket fuel at a decent rate, and potentially, oh no, there's a fail for the plastic as well for the low density structures. So yes, there's a few issues with this one, should we say, Tristan? I'm afraid we'll have to have a well. I'll go through and try and learn how to play this game, despite having been playing it for many thousands of hours. Right. So what I'm going to do is this is what I'm planning to do with all of the factories. If there's obvious things that have been forgotten, then I intend to go through and sort of tidy them up. But I think this one is possibly a little bit too far gone, should we say? Because I'd have to run the coal all the way down from here, right the way down to the plastic production, that's right down here. I'd have to do quite a lot of redesign in order to get that up and working. So I'm afraid that this one is going to just have to be described as a DNF, because whilst you've got quite a few things going, you've got oh no, the water has failed for the sulfuric acid, so that's something that could be easily fixed. There we go. Sulfuric acid now kicks in, but unfortunately it's just not going. It's not going to work. There's the plastic down here is too much of a spectacular fail. Putting in the odd extra piece of underground pipe like that, or an extra power pole, or a cable, or the odd inserter, that sort of thing is something I'm happy to do and tweak it. But yeah, unfortunately that's not failed. We've also missed the power over here for these refineries. However, that wouldn't be too serious an issue, because you've still got 3 that are running, and so they are, as you can see clearly, making the rocket fuel, so it'll work. So you're saying 186,000 if everything is fixed. Okay, well we'll put that down. I'll make a note of that. So we've got that doesn't really fit on the. Yeah. Okay. So final score is too many errors. 168k ticks if all fixed. Okay, so let's put that away. Right. So that was a good try. I mean, the factories that I can see how it was all supposed to be working. And you've oh no, you've not made a satellite. But in theory, I can see how everything was supposed to tie together. But unfortunately, it's not quite worked. So that's a DNF, I'm afraid. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I don't want to run through this too quickly, but yes, putting modules into machines is absolutely allowed. I specifically mentioned that in the rules. So generally, yes, you're allowed to put modules in machines, but you're not allowed to put down chests with items in them, because yeah, sorry, you're not allowed to put down chests with items in them, because that would make it trivial, and I reckon that having robots would make it a bit too easy as well. So yeah, unfortunately, it was a good try, but it didn't quite work. Yes, definitely going to fix trivial mistakes. I didn't look too carefully at the inserters, because there were, yeah, I think the not putting the coal into the plastic was a sufficiently major error that sort of. Sorry, I should turn the scores off. Not putting the coal into the plastic machines was a sufficiently major error that I'm afraid that's basically disqualified the factory. Sorry about that. As long to build the rocket it took to build the factory. Yeah, that's what it is. 186,000. That's let me actually bring up a calculator. I should look. I'm going to need to know how seconds and ticks compare, aren't I? So 186,000. Sorry, 168,000 even. No, it was 186. I just typed it wrongly on the other thing. 186,000 divided by 60 to get seconds, divided by 60 again to get minutes. Yeah, so 51 minutes. So as you say, the Oh, hey, Syntaxis, gotcha. Yeah, so about the same amount of time to build it as it was to run it. So, 51 minutes, if all fixed. Okay, so I think that's everything I have to say about this one. So next I shall move on to Peter's first attempt, and this is one is an actual legit proper attempt. So this is the one he did without cheating, not to put too fine a point on it, because the other one was cheating. I mean, it's okay because he's acknowledged it as sort of a carefully done run, but it's certainly not a fair run, so it doesn't count. So get rid of the scores again. This one took an hour 17, so slightly longer. Peter has gone for a much more beacon-heavy approach. That's interesting. So you're working on trying to get maximum efficiency out of the system as it flows. So we're using beacons for speed modules and productivity modules. So this means that even though there's only 4 belts of copper coming out of here, well, actually, there's not going to be more than 4 belts of copper coming out of the other side of it, despite the productivity modules, because the belt will be full. But you know, but it'll run faster than normal because of the beacons. So, oh yes, I made 3 mistakes yesterday, DK Gaming. I forgot to put down one of the inserters, which was that was spectacularly broken. So that meant it would completely fail. I forgot to wire my the rocket silo chest back into the circuit network. So again, that would be a fail. I also forgot to put beacons in, which is not a fail. It just means the system wouldn't run quite as nicely as it otherwise would have done. So we've got the metal smelting going on up here. I see iron and copper. I don't see any double rows of smelteries, so that's presumably not making steel. The steel is being made down here, I guess. Okay, from one of the belts of iron. That's fair enough. Looking over here, we've got the rocket silo over here. So Peter has sort of has wound the thing round. So it's sort of to get the rocket silo back close over here. So we need a much shorter red cable, which is fine as well. Yes, Tristan's was a legit attempt. He's not in the running for the prize because he's an admin on the channel, and I said basically it's like every competition you see on Chris Packets or whatever. If you work for the company, you can't win the prize. But no, his entry was perfectly legit. The one that I was saying was not legit was Peter's other attempt, where he'd sort of gone through carefully and sort of run over it back and forth in various different it sort of tested it and tweaked it and improved it without thinking too much about the amount of time taken. So yes, very beacon heavy approach down here. So we've got oil processing going on down here, presumably to make the rocket fuel. Got and plastic as well. That makes sense, having those in the same place, and the acid being made here. Low density structures, circuits being made across here, and the blue circuits down there. Lots of batteries up there. You don't need that many batteries for a satellite. At least I don't think you do. We'll see. But okay, that's enough. That's enough sort of wandering around looking at it. Let's trigger it and see what happens. Let's go out of map mode so that I can trigger it and see what happens. So turn the combinator on. Boom, everything starts flowing. Get a nice flow of iron and copper coming out there. He's only used one of the belts of coal. That's absolutely fine. If you don't think you need more than that, then there's no need to use more than that. That is just there and available. Interestingly, I didn't actually think about this as I was putting the map together, but you don't need stone at all to build a rocket. You don't need uranium either, but I put that one in because I thought, well, I put all of the other resources in. I might as well have done that. Is there a purple ghost on here? Oh yes, there's a ghost of a that must be an assembly machine in there. Yes, one of the assembly machines has not been placed, but I mean there's several other ones there, so that's certainly not going to be fatal. So Peter said this. He's made 2 mistakes on here. One is there's a power pole down at the sulfur area. Oh yes, down here there is power is missing. So I should drop in a thing down here in a moment and to get that to work properly. Plastic is coming out. That's good. Okay, you don't... Oh, speed modules, of course. I was going to say, you obviously don't need as many machines making the plastics as I thought you did to get a full belt out, but actually, given that he's got the speed modules in there, that's why it's working quite so quickly. Nice flow of iron and copper in here, making all the green circuits, which are pouring out down here. And we've got copper coming in here. I don't see any green... Oh, yes, there are the green circuits going into the red circuit production. I was going to say, I couldn't see them going in. I was wondering if that was a mistake, but no, it's just they had to flow all the way down and then back up again, and then they are prioritized. So yeah, they should flow. They'll flow through fairly quickly, and we should then see the red circuits coming out here. Here they come now, and eventually they'll come over here to make the blue circuits. This is looking pretty good, as it was said. Apart from the lack of power over here, meaning that there's no sulfuric acid, so that's gonna cause it to grind to a halt over here, unfortunately, because we're not going to be able to make the blue circuits without the sulfuric acid. So still, otherwise looks pretty promising so far. Everything can now flow back up here. We can start making the speed modules for the rocket control modules. And I'm guessing, looking at the numbers here, I think Peter's put a bit more thought into ratios than I did. I just slapped down lots and lots of machines and didn't bother to do any of the maths. Given that he's got sort of specific numbers and hasn't just built these all the way up here, I'm going to assume that this is the correct ratio. At the moment, we're limited by red circuits coming in, but they seem to have flowed pretty much all the way up the belt now. So yes, everything's now working. And that's needed to come up here for the satellite. Sorry, what's this? Oh, this is... Oh, this would be the blue circuits that are being pulled out here for the satellite and for the... and then also... and as well as being used for the rocket control modules. Okay, so, and the other thing he said he's missed is forgetting to tick this box here, which is really unfortunate. So I'll do that now. So that's one fix. And then over here, we'll put in another one of these. Will that get everything? It will if I put it here. Okay, so we'll put that in there. Now we're starting to make the acid. The iron's being pulled in. The sulfur's being made. We're making the acid. The acid can flow down into this tank and then along here. Oh, I see. Yes, you've got multiple hotbars and some blueprints you've knocked together to speed everything up. Very nice. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, that's all allowed. You're allowed to make blueprints inside the run if you wanted to, and copy and paste stuff and things like that. It was just going into the run with blueprints from external blueprints that you'd made previously that wasn't allowed. So now we've got the all of the speed modules, and now the blue circuits are starting to flow in. So we're getting the rocket control modules. They're coming up here, and now what's quite interesting. This is the thing I really wanted to do but forgot, is to put the productivity modules into the rocket silo, so you can make the rocket a bit quicker. Because as you can see, we're making, each time we make a section, we get a chunk of a section free. In fact, it's 40% of a section free as well, so this is going to go almost 50% faster. And given the rate that a lot of this stuff is coming in at, that's going to be very, very valuable. Then also got it surrounded by speed modules, which is why each time it gets enough stuff to do a chunk, that flies across really quickly. So this is going, yeah, this is now going. We'll leave that running. Okay, you're putting the rocket control modules into a chest to then load into here. I suppose that allows you to buffer a few more up here if one of the other parts was a bit slow to start producing things. But now it's just a case of waiting while all the bits and pieces come in. 31,000 ticks. Okay, well, so let's put a runtime is also DNF, but 2 fixes, 31k, which is 31,000 ticks. That's a lot faster than Tristan's runs. 31,000 divided by 60 for seconds, 60 for minutes is 8.6 minutes. That's pretty quick, actually. I'm gonna speed the game up in a second. Because I don't think any of us want to watch it for quite that long. But let's export that again. Right. I forgot to get the Factorio speed controls on my in my sort of list of things. I'm gonna have to search how to change the speed. One moment, please. Factorio change game speed. I'm organised, I promise. So game speed is 4. Yes, sure, I don't care about achievements. Oh. Right, there we go. Running it much faster. Well, 4 times as fast. So it should take a couple of minutes to run now. As you can see, we're at 78% rocket of the rocket done now. So yeah, this is looking like, as far as I can tell, now that I've gone in there and tweaked the power pole and ticked the box here, this looks like it should work, because we've got an exerter here that will pull the science packs out of the rocket silo into here. Oh, here comes the rocket. And is it going to launch? Yes, it looks like it's launching. So the rocket will launch and finish. Yeah, sure, continue. Right, so there we go. We've got that has come out there now. So if I look over here, we're seeing, oh, I don't know which of these numbers I'm supposed to be looking at now. Oh yes, 29,000 to build the rocket apparently, with the help it was given. Okay, so that's not worked quite as successfully as we hoped, but it has. But with some minor tweaks, this one was able to work. So currently, I'd say that puts Peter in the lead, because his factory very nearly worked, and I was able to fix it quite quickly. So now let's load mine. I'm the next in the list. This is going to be probably embarrassing, because I'm sure there's going to be some other things that have completely failed, but we'll see how it goes. So, hide that again. Right. Maybe I did fix things quicker. So here we go. So this is my attempt. I've done sort of similar. It's basically the same sort of idea that most people have done. I've got the iron belts coming out here. You'll have seen my thinking patterns behind all of this if you were watching the stream yesterday. But I'm making iron plates here and here, steel here and here. I forgot to go through and put modules in everything because I'm a muppet. Making copper here, copper all the way down here. I didn't think about the ratios too much. I just wanted to slap everything down and just try and get something that would build a rocket. So it's slightly ironic and unfortunate that I then didn't. I've got oil processing down here. So I've got two rows here that are just making petroleum gas in order to make the plastic and the sulfur. So those are self-contained. And then at the bottom, there's a row for each of those rather. But I did eventually decide it was best to link them all together. And then down here, I've got a series of the machines doing the more advanced refining that produces the light and heavy oil as well, because you need light oil in order to make the solid rocket fuel over here. I did consider cracking the heavy oil down to light oil, but I decided actually I'd just turn the petroleum gas and the heavy oil into solid rocket fuel that would come up here and be made into the solid fuel to be made into the rocket fuel. Then over here I've got a row of machines that are going to be making my green circuits that feed over into the red circuits that feed over into the speed modules and blue circuits in order to make the rocket control modules. And what have I got up here? Oh, and the low density structures up here for the rockets as well. So I didn't. As you can see, I've just spread everything out quite a lot because I thought there's no point in trying to build too small and compact. And then I had a panic about 10 minutes before I finished and realised I needed to make the satellite as well, and then just crammed that in here with some horrible spaghetti. So I already know that there are two things that are wrong with this design. The first one is that I missed out an inserter here, which means that I haven't got. It's not passing the rocket, the satellite into the rocket silo, so the rocket will never launch, and that's a massive fail. Hey Tamotsi, welcome. So it's going to fail because of that. I also forgot to link up this chest here where the white science is going to be exported to into the network to pass the signal all the way back across here and back down to this power pole down here, which means that even if the rocket did launch, the signal would never come back over here, and that's a fail as well. So I've made a couple of fatal mistakes in there, and I've made a non-fatal mistake of forgetting to put in all of the forgetting to put modules and everything. So this is probably going to take a bit longer to run than Peter's did. Especially as I think he's optimized his a bit more than I did while he was building it. So let's turn it on and see what happens. Click. So there we go, got the resources flowing out. I put a load of belts in before I really thought about how much of everything I needed, and then thought actually one belt of coal is probably going to be enough. I don't actually need any of this stone, but I did put a belt of uranium going all the way around the factory just because I thought it looked pretty. So this is now flowing in here. We've got the switch over to map mode. It'll make things a bit easier. So we've got the iron flowing out here at a rate. It is actually using up all of the iron that's. Oh no, it's not. I should have put a lot more furnaces in here to get more of the iron, more coming out. But that said, actually, this is fairly close to a full belt. It's slightly more than half anyway. So I didn't put in enough furnaces, but I didn't need to put in that many more. And putting in speed modules everywhere would have been sufficient. Over here, steel, there's a fairly slow rate of steel, but then steel is much more expensive. It takes, 5 iron to make a steel in vanilla, I think? Copper is coming out at exactly the same rate as iron because it's the same recipe. Down here, we've got, these machines are all running. We've got plastic being made, that's good. We've got sulfuric acid being made, excellent. And we've got machines down here that are filling up. Yes, the rocket fuel is being made relatively, in fact, very slowly. Somewhat disappointingly slowly, but never mind, it's being made, and that's the important thing. Over here, the circuits are coming through. We've got 2 belts of the copper going straight in for making circuits, and that's actually enough to keep all of these machines satisfied by the look of it. That's mildly surprising, but I guess I don't know. Oh, it's because there's not enough iron coming in. So the iron supply is the limiting factor on how many circuits I'm making, which is why only the first few of the machines are running, even though there's plenty of copper going across here. Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, as I said, I was not worrying too much about ratios, so I knew these were going to there were going to be shortages of stuff. But we've got some red circuits coming out. We've got green circuits flowing around here as well. We are making low density structures, again rather slowly, but we are making them. The blue circuits, again, being made very, very slowly, but then they're quite expensive, so it's sort of what you'd expect. Are we making the? Yes, we're making rocket control modules, but again, very, very slowly because that's requiring lots and lots of resources. But stuff is getting over to here. We've got. I need to be out of map mode and run all the way over there to have a look. But this seems to be basically working. I haven't seen any. Looking across this, I don't think I've made any other mistakes apart from the ones previously mentioned. So over here we don't have all of the stuff we need to make a rocket, but we do have at least some of all of the stuff. So I think that's going to be okay. And in here, again, we don't have all of the stuff to make satellite for the last one. Here, we don't have all of the stuff needed for a rocket, but we do have at least a little bit of it. Those rocket control modules are being made very, very slowly. So that's it's not a problem as such, but it is going to be it's going to mean that this is going to take a very, very long time to run. So I think it's time to make this run a lot faster. Let's go for 10 times speed. There we go. This is going to be a very, very slow factory. Eventually, though, all of this stuff will start to back up. All the things that aren't needed for additional satellites. So eventually, all of these belts will back up. And that will put less strain on the on all of the other all of the other inputs. It's really hard to control someone when you're running around at full speed. Oh, I did miss power for something. So I did quite well on the power, but it looks like I did actually miss something somewhere. So that's unfortunate. Looking around here, yeah, I'd say everything else seems to have power. The green uranium has now run all the way around the outside of the base to look pretty. How are we going on over here? So there's more green circuits coming in for making the blues now, so it's a little bit better. And that's because this belt has backed up all the way up here now, pretty much. There's still something over here using green circuits, though. Okay, we are still making solar panels and putting them into this into the machine that's making the satellites. But as you can see, everything is now starting to gradually back up. What's going on here? What are we short of? Oh, so it's rocket fuel that's now the limiting factor. We've got enough of everything else. So let's have a look at the rocket fuel and try and work out where the bottleneck is there, because it's interesting to see why things are not running as well as I would expect them to. So most of the machines are running. We've got a frenzy of building down here. We have interesting. I should have put in some machines to make turn light oil into solid rocket fuel as well, perhaps on a circuit condition to say only do it if there's a shortage of it, because at the moment this isn't going to cause a problem. However, these tanks are all filling up with light oil, so eventually these machines will stop running due to having too much light oil. However, these ones will quite happily carry on running, producing the petroleum gas, and that means we'll be able to carry on making solid fuel from petroleum gas. So it's never going to actually fail, but it is going to not run quite as effectively as it might have done. But then that's the whole sort of thing I was going for with the factory. I was accepting that, yes, it was not going to run quite as fast and as nicely as it might have done. But hopefully it was going to actually build a rocket, and my time was going to be reasonably low. And I was the third person to submit the factory, so... And if I had fixed the two things that I failed on, it wouldn't have taken me very much longer. So I'd probably been fourth if I'd taken the time, if I'd actually gone in and fixed those things. But that's still reasonably good. How are we doing? So we're more than halfway done. If I'd remembered to put in the productivity modules into this, which I did entirely intended to do, this would currently be at about 75%. But we're getting there. So I'm going to acknowledge that this factory is going to fail. And I'm going to put in the red cables now to link it up the way it should be. And I'm going to slow this down again because otherwise it's just impossible to control the character. So this should have actually first let's put in that inserter should have been there, and then this cable should have gone all the way across here like this. Now if I'd done it myself, I'd probably, if I'd done it originally at the time when I was supposed to do it, I'd probably have put this in round on some large pylons going round the outside of it, possibly around the bottom of it. But this is slightly easier because all of the substations are already all in here, so I can just feed this across here. Yes, I think I might as well fix this up because I've acknowledged that it's not going to be a winning entry because I screwed up. So we might as well find out how long it would take if I got it correct. So there we go. That's now wired up to here. So we should see if I run all the way back over here again now. We will probably see the green signal over on this. Yeah, there we go. The green signal's made it all the way over here. So that makes it look like I have got the wiring correct. We're still only 65% of the way through. So as I said, if I'd remembered to put the productivity modules in here, I'd have got that 40% boost on productivity, and the rocket would now be practically finished. Not quite, but very, very close. As it is, I'm going to need to just speed this up again, and yeah, just let this munch through. Oh, okay. Now the rocket fuel has caught up, and we're short of rocket control units. That's interesting. Maybe it's because we've stopped using the rocket fuel up here, filling this up with lots and lots of satellites. Although there is, yeah, or filling this up with lots of rocket fuel. Maybe that's the difference at this point. But now we are waiting for, yeah, the rocket control modules that are being built here out of these blue circuits, and the speed modules that are coming through. So yeah, if I wanted to make this a bit faster and a bit more efficient, I should have put in twice as many machines making the speed modules. That would have helped quite a bit, and probably more green circuit production as well. So yeah, so as I say, I didn't think at all about the ratios, which was perhaps a mistake, but never mind. It was my plan was to try and get the rocket built quickly and effectively, and hopefully not make any mistakes. Unfortunately, that was not the case, but you know, it was yeah, a lot more green circuits would have helped. And you have to know, actually, I don't need that many more, because we're making blue circuits faster than they're being used. But then actually, if I was making these faster, then actually, oh no, these machines are all running. There's a backlog of speed modules building up now, because everything. There's the rocket. Finished! Hurrah! Continue. Speed back to 1, please. Right, so the rocket finished. We've got the science coming out there, so that means the timer should have stopped. Let's run over and find out what I would have got if I'd not screwed up. So over here, let's have a look at these things. So on this one, we are seeing a time of, where is it? 172,000, which is 172,000 divided by 60 is 47 minutes. So if I'd left that running at normal speed, it would have taken 47 minutes to finish. That's a lot slower than Peter's almost 9 minutes. So I made 2 fixes, although granted one of them was quite big, and it took 47 minutes to run. Jeez, that's not brilliant, but could be worse. Export that place, and so here are the current scores. There we go. So we've got Peter and I took the same amount of time to build our factories. We both made 2 mistakes. Yes, speed modulating the smelters. Yes, that probably would have helped. Yes, if I put in more smelters, that would have sped things up a lot, because I'd have had more iron and copper coming in. Down here, maybe putting some more thought into how fast I was making the rocket fuel would have helped a little bit. Definitely I think the most important thing I missed, though, was putting the productivity modules into the rocket, and that was the thing I meant to do as well. I just forgot it, and that's sort of frustrating, because it was a thing that I should have done. I'd thought of it, I meant to do it, but it just completely slipped my mind at the last minute when I was putting the rocket silo together. So, and that would have taken it down to about half an hour. So I'd have still been a lot slower than Peter's entry, but it would have been quite a lot quicker. But obviously, I'm not eligible to win the competition either, because once again, I'm an admin. Okay, so who's up next? The next one is Tristan's second attempt. Now this is a weird one. That one, Lobster 2. This is a weird one, because he was told, basically Mike told him that he wasn't allowed to use any pumps. I'm just going to head back to the beginning of this monstrosity. Okay, let's turn that off so you can see the ridiculousness of what's going on over here. Right, so yes, he wasn't allowed to use he wasn't allowed to use pipes or pumps. So that means every little bit of fluid handling he's done has had to be done with some sort of horrid conglomeration of tanks, and then attempting to direct insert fluid from one machine to another. Has he actually done any direct insertion of fluids? I don't see any. No, I don't see any direct insertion of fluids. That's possibly a shame, but okay. So this is just a horrible, horrible mess of tanks. Look at that. Oh dear. Right. Well, that's interesting. This is indeed very cursed. So Mike has promised that yes, okay, yeah, barreling would have probably been an improvement over this. Mike has promised that he was building his factory in an attempt to make everybody cringe when they see it. So his is probably going to be even worse. But yeah, this is indeed, yes, cursed. Cursed is a good word. It's also very awkward for running around near because there's so much stuff in the way. Okay, well, yes, good. Well, I did want to have some interesting comedy entries. Actually, I like what you've done with the smelting here, and I can't remember if Peter also did the same thing of having it going up and just getting out of the way, whereas mine was sort of just put blump straight across, and then later on when I thought actually I should have put more machines in there, there was no room to do it. So I wish I'd arranged it like this. But anyway, let's turn it on and see how much see how deep the curse runs. So turn it on, and okay, so this time we've got the coal coming out, so that's good. And we've got the other ores flowing out over here as well, and the liquids. The tanks are gradually filling up with water and filling up with oil. Oh, and starting to fill up with petroleum gas as well. So that is happening. That is a thing. I don't know. I mean, I think the correct quote is, if it's a stupid idea but it works, it's still stupid. You just got lucky. Um, it's a much better one than the if it's stupid and it works, it ain't stupid, I think. Oh dear God. So unfortunately, yes, the what's happened over here is that the coal has gone onto the wrong belt along here, and it's been put onto the plastic output belt instead of the coal input belt. So once again, unfortunately, there's been a fail here. There's also no power down here for the low density structures, and also it's covered in curse. That's no polite way to put it. Okay, so we do have iron and copper flowing out of here though, so that probably means what's going on down here? Why is this not? The sulfur doesn't seem to be working either. It's just not getting. Okay, it's not getting enough petroleum gas through because of the curse barrels that are just gradually filling up instead of pumping it down the what do you call it, down a nice neat pipe. So it's a bit slow, but we'll come back to that in a moment and see how it gets on. Up here we have a very large quantity of green circuits that are attempting to be turned into red circuits, but unfortunately it's full of coal instead of plastic, as has been acknowledged. So there's a known issue there. That's an interesting shape going on up here. I sort of like that. I think in order to sort of keep each of these. It's a sort of weird separation. Yeah, it's because you've got the belt going up and then going into the left-hand side of the splitter instead of having it coming up and going into the right-hand side and the splitter going off into the other way. I mean, it looks kind of cool and it makes it nice and easy to separate out all of the output belts, I guess. But it's also kind of weird. But no, I don't mind weird. I'm kind of okay with that. So yeah, I mean nothing's going to come through over here by the looks of it, because we're not going to get the low density structures because there's no power here. We're not going to get the blue circuits and therefore the rocket control modules because there's that. Yeah, I could kind of tell, but it looks kind of funky despite being not deliberate. Oh yeah. So I think the sulfur will work. Yes, as you say, just take a while. That doesn't need to be changed. Okay, there's a machine to build satellites here. Okay, so that may well be okay. Right. So what I'm going to do is, because this whole belt is polluted, I'm going to load that game again. And before I start it, I'm going to make a couple of changes. So I'm going to put in some power here, like that, and I'm going to rotate that belt like that. Are there any other changes you think I need to make before I before I trigger it again? Machine to build satellite doesn't have an inserter. Has he made the same mistake? Oh, yes, you've made the same mistake I did there. Boop. There we go. So it's three tweaks. Copper to batteries. Where's that? Batteries, here we go. Is that this belt coming across the top? Yeah, it must be. It's the only one that's not linked in, so I guess it is. Or is it there's no belt in there at all? Okay, this is sounding like it's coming to the rather too many things wrong with it stage, but we shall see. Heavy oil cracking needs a few more tanks. Oh yes, yeah. There's nothing coming out here, so that will go to. I'm going to let it run and find out where the problem is there. We'll see how it gets on. So we'll do that, and once again, I'm going to put the speed up to 10 times, and just let it have a go, and see how things get on. Right, so now we have plastic coming through. That's an improvement, and that means we're making low density structures. Well, we are now making low density structures because the copper and the steel have arrived, so that's good. They're backing up because the plastic seems to be the limiting factor here. So yeah, we're not making plastic enormously quickly, but it's being made, so it's yeah that's happy. Then up here we are now making, yes, red circuits are pouring out down here. The plastic again is the limiting factor, so it's not actually making it out of this area, so it's fine. 8 hours, jeez, okay. And some barrel movements, oh dear. Including the build. The build time was 1 hour 19, so yes, 7 hours 20. Okay, well that's quite a lot of fixes. So we'll put it in at should we call it 5 fixes for that? I think because there was the power, there was the coal, there was the inserter for the satellite, the inserter for the batteries, and the barrels for the heavy oil. So it's at least 5 fixes, I'm afraid. In a way, it doesn't matter exactly how many fixes it was because it's more than Peter's. So you're saying 6 hours? Okay, we'll put down 6 hours. Right. Does anyone want to watch Tristan's factory for the next 6 hours? Actually, it's only going to be the next next hour? No, the next 6 hours would be the next 36 minutes because I'm running at faster speed. In fact, do you think I can make this go at 100 times speed? Maybe. No, I think my computer's just not capable of doing that. So we're yeah. Plastic is apparently moving around is very difficult when you're running at potentially 100 times speed. So we're not getting the rocket fuel through here, and I can't tell why. Oh, here we are. The rocket fuel is not getting anything actually. Oh, it's getting solid fuel. I take that back. But it's not getting. Oh no, this is working. I take it back. This is actually running. I'm going to use the map view. Yeah, okay, so this is running, so presumably that means there's probably going to be, there's going to be solid rocket fuel coming around here at some point. I just don't know how much of it's making it to the rocket launcher, the rocket silo. Let's do that so that I can actually move at a. Where even am I? I'm up there. That's okay, HTML. I'm going to be testing yours, so you don't have to. Right, so you've got 1% of your rocket so far, so jolly well done. I think I'm not going to watch the whole thing run. I'm just going to I'm going to believe your 6 hours. Right. Okay. So that's did I save it? No, I don't think I did export this one again. Export, play. Dumpty dumpty dum. So that brings us over to four factories run. None of them have succeeded yet, I'm afraid. But at the moment, Peter is clearly in the lead because his only took 2 fixes. He finished slightly more quickly than I did, and his factory ran much faster than mine did. So that's that's okay. So yes, that puts Peter clearly in the lead at the moment. Next up is HTML. Do that one. And as always, I'm going to run back to the start. Oh, I forgot I was supposed to be reading out what people had said about their factories as I was going through. Sorry about that. I'll come back and touch on those in a moment. So you forgot the iron for sulfuric acid and misplaced an inserter in the satellite spaghetti. Okay, well I might be able to. I'm sure I can make a couple of tweaks to get that working. And call that that sounds like 2 errors to me. So we'll see how that gets on. Oh, you've got circuit things to limit the amount of stuff going to satellite. That's a good idea. Yeah, I just didn't bother. Okay, so let's hide the current scores again. And have a look at the factory. What's it? Oh, right. You didn't want to have to deal with cracking, I see. That's a cracking way to get around it, I suppose, or a not cracking way to get around it. Might be a better, more accurate way to phrase it. So you've done the similar sort of smelting setup to the one I used. So I certainly can't criticise it. There. Okay, so we've got the Oh, this is steel. That's what. Yeah. Okay. So smelts the iron across into iron ore into iron here, then pass it back out again to be turned into steel. That makes sense. So we've got belt of steel coming down here. That's presumably the iron. Yep, two more for the 2 more rows for the iron to bring that out. This is a very familiar looking design. Then 4 belts of copper, which are being balanced. That's actually quite a good idea. It means if one of your outputs starts to get to the point of saturation, then you can put more out to the other one. That's, yeah, I probably should have done that. Making green circuits to be made into red circuits to be made into blue circuits. That's pretty traditional. Then over here we've got making the speed modules for the rocket control modules, and then passing the rocket control modules all the way back over here to the rocket silo. I mean, that saves on red cables, I suppose, but it does mean a lot of time for the bits to flow around. But you know, that's not a problem. And then oil processing down here to make lots of petroleum gas to make the plastic and the sulfur. That makes sense. I don't see quite where that's linked in, but I'm sure it probably is. Oh, over here, right? Yeah, fine. Okay, cool. And then down here, yes, rocket fuel. You're doing with just the light oil recipes. Hence the dump tanks over here. I'm sorry. It's not as cursed as Tristan's tanks, but it's still a bit. it's still amusing me. Okay, let's hit the button and let it go. So, as ever, the ores are flowing out. The liquids are flowing out probably more quickly. The ores will eventually dribble over over there, and down here we can now see that we are making light petroleum gas, and we're not making plastic yet because the coal hasn't got here yet. If only there were faster belts, eh? But we are starting to make the sulfur, but not the sulfuric acid, because as stated, that requires iron plates. So yeah, that's known. On the copper wires for reds is missing copper. That's fine. If there's the odd missing building in there, then it's going to work. It's just going to be slightly slower than it should be. So making this is making rocket fuel, so that's working fine. Good. This is not making sulfuric acid discussed, but we're making plastic. Making copper. So over here, the green circuits are now starting to flow, so that's working. And okay, so you've done 2 separate sections here. So making green circuits for the red circuits and making green circuits for blue circuits. I think that's similar to what I did. So that I can definitely agree with that. That makes sense. Copper's starting to fill up nicely over here, but yeah, because as you say, yes, you've got the inserter to load the copper in on this one. Unlucky there. So you're going to be making your red circuits at half the intended speed, but at least, as you say, that way is some, so that will work. That you don't need to use up one of your fixed points for that, so we can leave that ticking away there. Fortunately, you don't need anything like as many. Oh no, that's the I was going to say you don't need as many red circuits as you do green circuits in order to make the blues, but you're still going to need quite a few for these ones because these are it's five of each. Okay, so we've got a dribble coming through there, so that will work. I think this is probably all going to work. Let's go over and fix the iron supply here. So where's the nearest iron belt? Okay, there's one here. I'm going to pull off. Yeah, I'm just going to pull off this because I'm lazy. There's a splitter. And that can come round. It was the sulfuric acid that needed it, wasn't it? Yes. Bring that up there, and then I can put in an inserter like that, and then it'll only be one of the machines, but it'll work, and that's the main thing. Okay, so there we go. That's that sorted out. Interesting. You're doing the green circuit production sort of on site up here. That's I mean, it makes sense actually. I probably should have done the same myself because given that I was already going to be bringing the iron and the copper into that area, that makes a lot of sense. I think I should have done the same. This is a much neater and less spaghetti horrible method of building up your satellites than I was using, so yep, can appreciate that. You seem to have a belt of what's going on here? Oh, I see. Oh, the coal belt's being fed through there. Gotcha. You seem to be trying to take iron off it though, so I think you're not going to get any steel through for your and that's inserted the wrong way around as well, so that's 2 fixes, and there's no steel here. Yeah, there apparently needs to be iron coming down here. So actually, I think that needs to be there, like that. 3 fixes, I think. So that's, but I mean, to be honest, it's there. Apart from that extra belt I had to put in, they've all been fairly minor fixes so far, I'd say. And your satellite is not going yet because we're still waiting for rocket control units and low density structures. But yes, yeah, I saw it coming in here, and I was thinking, why is that trying to grab off there? Is that supposed to be what? Where? And then I couldn't, because the yellow and blue undergrounds are quite long, and there's quite a lot of other stuff here, and you went up and down straight away again here. I just thought, hang on a minute, that coal belt stopped. It's not going anywhere. But I know you need coal for plastic because we've established that that's a problem, and there's only one belt coming out here. I'm sure it's making plastic. What's going on here? I'm very confused, and then I unconfused myself because I worked out what on earth was going on. All right, so 1, 2, 3. I'll make that three changes. And well, we're still waiting for the what do you call it? Rocket control modules. Oh, this is problematic. I think you might be going to have potentially have a problem here because your low density structures are on the wrong side of the are on the same side of the belt as the fuel over here. The objective, Samuel, is to the objective is to build a factory that will launch a rocket and output some yellow circuit. No, some white science. Jeez, that was both the words wrong in there. It'll output some white science, but when you build it, you're not allowed to see you're not allowed to have anything flowing down any of the belts. So you have to do it completely blind and make it up and just see how it goes. And afterwards, so let's see. The rocket control units are not being built because the blue circuits have missed their belts. Okay, let's go over and fix that as well. There we go. Right, now we've got some blue circuits. Right, so now we can actually make the rocket control units. No, there weren't any blue circuits being turned into the satellite. Oh no, I think that the problem is this is now full of rocket fuel. It's not full of low density structures, so it'll never pick up this rocket fuel from here. So that needs to be turned like that to stop that happening again. So the two belts ran into each other there. I think that's up to 5 fixes now. But we should have. Oh, here come the blue circuits now for the satellite. We should have some rocket control modules coming through at some point. I'm not sure where they're coming from, but yes, here they come. Yeah, they are. They are working. Good. Are they going onto the other side of one of those belts I've already seen? Yes, they are. Okay, cool. Yes. So the challenge. I mean, building a rocket like this is fairly trivial if you've got everything flowing and you can see where you've made mistakes and things. Oh yes, you spotted the bit of spaceship I forgot to pick up. Well done there. Yes, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Oh, I need to actually fix that as well. Oh, stuck again. Moving around at this speed is difficult. There we go. Now things will start to work. Yes. So I think this is now all sorted. Yeah. Oh yeah. Clearing the fuel off the belt was the same fix. I didn't do the fix properly, so that one's on me. Maybe I should put it up to 3 fixes for me. Yeah. So building a factory to make a rocket like this is trivial normally because we're using creative mod, which means you can spawn in as many things as you want. So for example, if I wanted to have lots and lots of solar panels, well, we weren't allowed solar panels, but if I did, or lots of furnaces, you can just put as many of them in as you like just like this. It's trivial, so the challenge in this was to do all of this without seeing where any of the stuff goes around the base. So you have to trust on your ability to follow belts around and read inserters and all that sort of thing. And so far, I'm slightly ashamed to say nobody has managed it. There's just slightly different. Oh yeah, let's speed the game up. There we go. Right. So now we've got. Yeah, now this is running a bit more quickly now. You remember to put the productivity modules in here, so your rocket is going to get built a little bit more quickly. Look at the control modules building up and then all getting disappearing into the silo when it needs another 10 of them. So yeah, it looks like rocket fuel is the limiting factor on this for speed. But yeah, we'll just leave that to run, and we'll have a time fairly soon, I think, because it must be. Yeah, there we go, 60%, 61, 63, getting there. So yeah, once this factory gets going, it's running at a a respectable speed. It's not going to be as fast as Peter's, but I don't think anyone, well, nobody else so far has gone through and optimized things or ratioed things up quite as carefully as he has. This is ridiculous. How are we doing now? We go 98, 99. There's the rocket. Rocket noises intensify. The auto launch with cargo is turned on. It hasn't launched, so there's presumably something wrong with the satellite. There's not enough solar panels. Oh, the solar panels are the solar panels are still being made for the satellite. Wow. Okay, so your limiting factor was how quickly this furnace can make the steel in order to make the solar panels in order to make the satellite. That I was not expecting to be the slowest part of making a spaceship, launching a rocket. So yeah, we're only 60% of the way through that. Interesting. Yes, that steel is very, very slow. So we'll speed it back up again. How are you getting on? 63, 64, 65. It surprised me, I suppose, because I just linked it into my my main steel supply. I had a lot more steel flowing through, but yeah, having the steel in order to make the solar panels, in order to make the satellite, being the limiting factor on how quickly you can launch rockets, is surprising and different, should we say? I suppose this should have had this one should have been filled with productivity modules as well. Oh, here we go, 97, 98, 99. There's a satellite, making the satellite in the rocket. Rocket departs. Yeah, speed modules speed modules would have been better, you're quite right. Right, so there goes the rocket. Here comes the science. Unload, unload, unload. And that stops the clock at 254,000. Okay, so 254,000 divided by 3,600 is... Oh, I didn't type in the right thing. Let's try that again. 254,000 divided by 3,600 is 70 minutes. So 1 hour 10. Not the slowest, not the fastest. So just somewhere in the middle. So it's another DNF and 5 fixes 1 hour 20. Come on, stop being... There we go. There we go. There we go. Right. Okay, so we're that puts us about halfway, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, halfway through. So next up we have Mark's entry. Load game. Mark that one. And everything is... Whoa. Mark appears to have been going for who can make the smallest factory. That's everything. That's a very, very small factory. That's astonishingly small, in fact. Okay, well, yes, I'll challenge me to get a time for it. Yes, this is going to be quite slow, isn't it? Because I think you definitely get an honourable mention for the smallest factory, or at least the smallest factory yet. So, well done there. I'm a little bit disturbed. So this is going to take a while to run, so I'm just going to set it going. We've got the resources coming in here like this. Yes, and it's a certain type of efficiency, I suppose. Okay, so let's have a look round it. So this might not take very long. So from the top here, okay, so we're making copper plates and iron plates here in order to make green circuits, and the copper is also being turned into making into cables to make the red circuits, both of which are then being fed down here to make the blue circuits, to make the and also the reds and these greens from over here, which are coming from this copper smeltery and where are you getting the iron from for these green circuits? Oh, presumably from this. Oh, there's a blue belts aren't quite that long, Mark, I'm afraid. So tell you what, because we're all gonna die of old age if I don't fix this. There's your first fix. Right, so there we go. Then we've got green circuits here, making the speed modules, and along with these blue circuits, assuming all of that works, we're going to be making the rocket control modules to go in here. Great. Um, so that's this area. Then over here we're doing the same sort of thing again in order to make the blue circuits to make the satellite. Okay. We've got a machine here that's supposed to be making plastic. Your oil processing doesn't seem to have kicked in. Let's have a look at that because that seems to be problematic. Okay, so we're doing all three types over here, and then cracking that down over there. Great. Okay, so we do have a bit of light oil dribbling out over here, and there'll be presumably a bit more coming out. Yes, so there's a pump over here that will pull it out on circuit conditions as and when required. But at the moment, we haven't really made enough for this machine to have made any sulfur yet, which means we don't have any acid, which means we don't have any blue circuits. So this is, so far, I haven't seen any other problems yet. Here we're making the steel for the low density structures and for the what are these things? Solar panels. And up here the batteries, the batteries are being made and going in here, so the accumulators are being made. So we do have some acid coming through. Okay, I think it's time to speed this up. And yeah, see how it goes. I don't think I can go faster than this. I think this is probably the limit of how fast my computer can do stuff. We've got 5,000 UPS, which is quite good. So that means it is running almost 100 times normal speed. Thank you, Pete. Yes, it's oh yeah, all right. Let's put some modules in the oil refinery because otherwise we'll just die of old age, as you say. There we go. Let's do that, and probably, you know what? I'm just going to speed module anything you haven't, just for the sake of it, because there's no real reason not to. I've forgotten how to play this game. There we go. Yes, you're right. I don't need to run around quite so much with this one because I can see the whole thing without actually getting out of my chair. And if I do get inside it, then I can't go anywhere anyway. Right. So how are we getting on over here? We're 3%, 4% done. So things are happening, and we are currently 300,000 ticks into the attempt. Yeah, the one steel furnace down there making the. Do you think this is going to be the same as the last one, where the limiting factor on the rocket was the one furnace making the steel for the solar panels? How are you getting on? Oh no, it's not. The limiting factor on making a satellite was the blue circuits. And you've remembered the auto launch with cargo. Well done there. So yeah, I can say that this is going to work. Granted, I had to put in the underground belts up there, which is a bit of a shame. But other than that, everything in here is completely functional. It's just a little bit slow. I like how you put speed modules in here rather than productivity modules. I think that might have been the wrong choice, to be honest. Oh, furnace has speed modules, right? Okay. Yes, I've seen videos of the microfactories that will build an entire rocket in. Well, you say 13 by 9. I'm happy to believe that. So what's the? I'm trying to see which machine. Yeah, these machines up here seem to be running constantly. So it looks like the limiting factor on this is the production of the green circuits up here in order to make the everything else. Yeah, I think this is probably the limiting factor, which might be. Actually, this is running most of the time. Actually, not quite as much of the time as I thought it was. I think I can safely say that the limiting factor on this at the moment, with the extra speed modules I put in, is this cable machine up here that's making the green circuits. Or maybe it's this machine that's making the. Actually, no, I think it's this smelter up here that's making the copper to make this cable to make the green circuits. Okay, well, I mean, this is working very well. We're now, how far are we? 21% in. So, right. Need to tell some stories now, I guess, and to pass the time while we wait for this to finish working. I'm also quite impressed with it. I don't think, looking around here, I don't think you've used any splitters either, and not very many. Well, then actually, there's quite a few underground belts, but yeah, there's no splitters in here, which is why this iron ore belt is coming round here, and that's what tripped you up. If you put a splitter in here and run one of them across and gone underneath here, it might have been all right. But what did you say? You said you moved the top right to add the rocket control units and then forgot to add the underground. Oh, no. That's really unlucky because it was so close to being a perfect rocket. And I think that was one fix to get this working. So I think that puts you currently in the lead, even if your rocket is going to take a very, very long time to build. So, yep, doing well. 30%. How long has this been going for now? This has been going for 1.1 million. Yes, you're quite right. Copper is always the bottleneck later on in Factorio when you're trying to make circuits, isn't it? It's just because, yeah, early on, it's interesting. Early on, iron is always the shortage because you need so much of it for all the belts and things you're trying to put in. But then, yeah, later on, it's always copper because you just need so many circuits for everything, especially blue circuits, and then all the factory stuff, and then later on, if you're playing something like space exploration, you then decide it'd be a good idea to make some more advanced modules, and that takes even more copper. I think I ended up having to go out to a separate copper planet in my last run just because I was getting through it so fast. I could, but I sort of don't want to switch these for productivity because I sort of want to see how long this is going to take, because we've got we're yeah, yes, it will mean it'll knock 40% off the time, and that seems like a good idea, really. But also, I kind of want to see how long this is going to take just to run through as it is. Uh, yeah, it's one of those sort of tricky things. Isn't quite the right way to put it, but one of those things you have to think about is what's the best modules to put in everything. And yeah, speed modules is the first obvious thought, but. The other thing that's interesting is looking at how slowly these belts are flowing. The iron belt across the top here, you've got a little trickle coming through across the top of it. This copper belt, I think between this one and this one, you're still using probably less than a belt of copper for everything that's going on here. So yeah, there's a lot of I am honestly in awe of this factory that you've managed to you fitted it into such a small area. That is very impressive. Yeah. I didn't know what to expect when I was going. I knew lots of people. Everyone was hopefully going to come up with sort of their own sort of twist on the design criteria, and come up with something a bit different, their own sort of weirdness. And then when Mike and Tristan started talking about their no belt and no pipe challenges, well, I knew those were going to be cursed. But yeah, I was thinking that maybe that there were a future run should be a who can make the smallest rocket factory challenge. But Mark has already kind of got that one sewn up, I think. Uh, okay, yeah, so yes, it'd be a bit of a speed and boost anyway. Uh, use only one belt for each ore. So are you thinking to reduce the amount of throughput, or just because then you'd have, or would you? Yeah, or just do what Mark's done here and not use any splitters. That's also an alternative challenge. 58. This is taking quite a long time. Maybe I'll wait for it to get to 60% and then just assume it's going to be linear from there, because I think it might be about time to move on to the next one. Oh, direct. Oh, that's true. Yes, you have done direct insertion everywhere, haven't you? That's a very good point. I hadn't even thought about it from that point of view. Yeah, that's even more impressive. Okay, so we've got past 60% now. So let's call it what have we got here? We've got 2 million. So we'll call it actually let's get to 66%, and then I can just multiply it by an extra 50%, and the numbers are easy. Well, as Peter said, Jackson, if you made it smaller by reducing the number of machines, then you'd also have to then run some belt spaghetti around in order to get everything hooked up. So that might actually make it worse. 65. Nearly there. 66%, 2.2 million. So 3.3 million to complete the thing. So that is 3300000 divided by 3600 is 916 minutes, also known as 15 hours, just over 15 hours. 15 hours. That's okay. So you've got the fewest fixes required, but you've also got the slowest factory by quite a significant margin. Now I'm assuming that I'm just going to check that the satellite and everything has been wired incorrectly. I have no reason to doubt this particularly, but where's there's a satellite? So we've got a satellite in there. We've got a red inserter that'll put it into there. We've got auto launch turned on. We've got something to put the science packs out into a box, which is linked to there, to there, to there, to there. Yeah, I'm satisfied that I am satisfied that this factory would work if I waited another 5 hours for it to finish running. But I'm not going to do that because that would probably be the most boring stream ever. Certainly the most boring stream I've ever done on my run. Yes, I suppose yes. Supply chests would be a way to do it. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh right, would be to test it. Yeah, but no, it's fine. I believe it. I've looked at it and I'm confident it would work. Although I was reasonably confident that mine would work, but you know. Yeah, I think that would just lead to a little bit more belt spaghetti. Actually, especially if you weren't using, if you weren't using splitters, you'd have to have that. That could wind in and come out and then come down here. But then, yes, getting that belt out of here again would be extremely difficult. So you'd have to play around with the design quite a lot if you were going to use a single belt of each ore with no splitters and yeah, that would be a challenge. Sport, replace. Right, so there we go. There's another one done. 60% of the way through. Let's have a look at Syntaxis one next. That's this one. Load. I'm standing on a belt and I'm getting moved. Right, okay, let's have a... so yeah, there we go. So we've got times run times now ranging from 8.6 minutes from Peter to 15 hours for Mark. That's quite impressive. But still, nobody's finished yet. Yeah. We'll have to see. We'll have to decide afterwards if that means I made the challenge too hard or if it just means we're all poor at attention to detail. Okay, this is a more normal size factory, which I'm sort of relieved by. So Syntaxis has gone for heavy beaconing again, which I mean makes sense. So we've got an iron smelting area up here, and does that feed into another? I'm not sure where the steel's being done, but we'll have a look. We'll find that sooner or later. Plastic being made down here. We've got the other. This is presumably, yes, this is copper being made over here. Green circuits, red circuits, blue circuits, fairly standard. Batteries over here, low density structures, speed modules and rocket control modules, all feeding down into the rocket silo here, which is linked back with the red cable. Then down at the bottom we've got plastic being made, so that's all the oil processing stuff going on over here. Advanced oil processing, cracking, that makes sense. Sulfuric acid, rocket fuel. Okay, this looks like, yeah, it looks fairly standard. And this I have to admit, looking at a factory like this kind of reminds me why I don't use beacons very much in vanilla, because they just take over the factory a bit. But, you know, they're a part of the game, so I'm not going to, there's no criticism of it from, no, turn on. There we go, on. Missing pipe isn't game. Oh, failed to check auto launch cargo. All right, let's fix that while we're waiting for things to run. Yeah, okay, auto launch cargo. There we go. So here we go. We've got the iron smelting is working nicely. We've got iron pouring out here, copper pouring out here. Looks good to start with. Belt labeling. I didn't notice that. Somebody did mention it earlier, but I didn't actually notice it. Yeah, maybe you're right, Mark. Yeah, if anyone completes it without having any mistakes, then obviously they've been cheating. Oh yeah, yeah, that is a good idea. I approve of that. Very smart. Oh, so the steel's over here. So steel's coming along this. Did the steel just come out of the iron ore and I didn't? Oh, okay. The steel's just come out from up here and I didn't notice that it was being double processed. Oh, because it's pulling off... What? Oh, I see, yeah. Some of the iron's flowing along here, flowing up this way and background here, and some of it's being pulled off to be turned into steel. Okay, fine. The plastic throughput is, yes, limited, but not too bad. So you mentioned an oil processing missing underground belt that was crippling the plastic. Missing underground pipe, even. This seems okay. Petrol output of the 4th refinery. Oh yes, there's a pylon in the way instead. Unlucky, or insufficiently careful. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's. I mean, that's only. It means that you're getting a third of your plastic through, so it's not too bad. I think for your sake, I'm going to not count that as an error. I'm just going to leave it running because I think if I just leave this running and it looks like everything is okay with only one fix, and as long as your factory doesn't take 15 hours, I think you're going to be the new leader. Um, and you produced your you produced your factory in about only slightly longer than if we have a quick look at the scores here, you produce your only you didn't produce your factory much more slowly than Mark did. So I think yes, as long as you take less than 15 hours to build your rocket, you're probably going to be okay. Well, Jackson, I was trying to encourage people to put in late entries if they wanted to, because it would at least be interesting to see. But yeah, if you didn't have time, then that's fine. What can you do? Right, so this is looking promising. We've got all of the different ingredients have come in. We've got 1% of the rocket built, so that's good. The satellite is it's got all of its ingredients coming in, and there's a double inserted passage across there. Oh, I see. So when there's a satellite in the box, all of these turn off, so you stop using resources up, I assume. Yes, makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Although actually, you'd have been better off just having this direct insert into the rocket silo, because then the satellite would have just sat in there, and you'd have only made one satellite. Whereas because you're putting it out into a box, you have to make a second one. But never mind. It's not. That's certainly not going to cripple the factory. Let's speed things up a bit. There we go. And let it run. So yeah, as you were saying, you're short of the rocket fuel because the oil refinery isn't running as fast as you hoped it would. But you've remembered to put in the productivity module, so this is going up pretty quickly. We're at 75% already, so that's going well. And I swear that sped up towards the end. Continue. Yes, let's put speed back down to zero. Speed back down to normal. There we go. Oh yes, you're right. It would make a second, probably, if it had all the stuff. Yeah, all right. Yes, I think you're right, Tristan. Yeah, okay. So yes, but having it in the chest versus having it in there wouldn't make any difference. I take back what I said earlier. Okay, I put all of the instructions in the Discord, so anyone who's interested in playing. I mean, actually, if you want, the instructions are all in the Discord. So if you want to go back and have a play and just give it a try. I mean, obviously I won't run through your design in this stream, but you can have a play at it just for fun if you want. Go and join the Discord. Let someone know that you'd like to be added to the challenges group, and you'll be dropped in, and you'll be able to see the rules in there, and you can have your play, and then you can come in and tell us how long it took you, and how much easier it was when you knew the three things to watch out for, because it was the mistakes that everybody made. So that built its rocket in 59,000, which is 59,000 is not very long, I think. 16 minutes. Nice. That's not the fastest rocket, but it's how many minutes did I just say? 16 minutes, just over. So that puts you. Let's bring this up so I can actually show you. What are you doing? Stop it. Behave. Stop being bad. OBS does not like it when you. Oh, hang on. Oh no, I exported the wrong thing. My fault. That was. Yeah, I see what I did wrong there. Place. Cancel. I made it bigger. I've broken everything. One moment, please, while I sort my life out. There we go. That should be there. There we go. Right. So there we go. So it's not the fastest, because Peter's factory was with all the obvious careful calculations and stuff that gone into it was faster. At 8.6 minutes versus yours at 16. But you required fewer fixes. I'm also intrigued, so that means you are currently in the lead. However, I'm also intrigued to load yours back up again. Where is it? Can't find you. There it is, in the bottom of the list, because S. Load yours back up again and fix that underground pipe that was wrong, and then see how long it takes, because that will seriously increase your fluid throughput. Sorry, I'll hide the scores again. So I put that pipe in there like that. So let's fix that. What was the other thing? There was something else that was broken. Was it the launch on signal? It was. Right, okay. And that's a very, very minor fix. So yeah, we'll try that again with that turned on, and see how long it takes. It would have been genuinely amazing if the winning run had been 15 hours long, just because it was the only one that finished. Right, so we'll let that run now for a moment. How's it going? So we're already at, and we're running at 1500 UPS. So that's quite quick, but boom, there's the rocket, and it's launched. Time back to normal, please. There we go. Let's go and see how long that would have been. I was trying to be reasonably. I was trying to be quick and careful and not do any sort of novel, ridiculous things. So, what am I looking for? 28,000 is 7.8 minutes. So, even with the second fix, oh no, 7.8 minutes. That would have put you at the fastest as well. Ha! Well done. Congratulations, that's both fast. That's faster than Peter's if I go through and fix everything, and fewer issues if I don't fix everything. So yeah, that definitely puts you in first place. Well done. Or first place so far, I should say. It's quite possible that Upfire or Mike might actually manage to build an entire factory without making a single mistake. We shall see. But so far, I mean, that puts you in the it puts you in the lead. And I didn't put your Dunfin there. Let's put Dunfin. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. All right. All right. In the interest of fairness, let's fix Peters from the start and give it another try then. All right. I can't find you. Oh, there you are. Up the top. Yes. Could you remind me what was wrong with yours? Because if I'm going to fix it from the start, then I need to I need to know what I'm fixing. I should probably be coming back and doing these the extra tests afterwards, shouldn't I? But oh yeah, checkbox over here. Dink and sulfur power. Sulfur. There's oily stuff over here, so sulfur must. Oh yeah, it was down here. I remember. So put that there. Yes, that does get everything. Right. Okay. Let's do another one then. So and go. How about now? There we go. Go. Right. I'm stuck on something. I can't. Oh, there we go. There I am. 22, 23, 25, 27, 30. What numbers? And boom, rocket. Right. Let's see. How long did that one take? That took 30,000. Yeah, 30. Actually, yes, 30,000 is fewer. Comes out. Oh no, it's still slower. Sorry, that's 8.3 minutes. With all the fixes done. So no, actually, I'm sorry. I just left that over the top of everyone's. Sorry, I forgot to turn the overlay off. But you'll just have to take my word for it. Replies. There we go. Right, so Peter's was actually 8.3 minutes, so actually slightly slower. Sorry about that, Peter. Okay, so yeah, over here we've got the score 30,000, which comes down to about what's the name? Comes out 8.3 minutes. So yeah, close, but I'm actually impressed by how close those times are. But I guess that's just how fast things go if you do everything. Okay, so since Upfire needs to go soon, let's run through his, because that's Upfire. There we are. What's one called Rocket Race 3? I don't know. Oh, never mind. I thought I'd renamed it. Right, okay, so here we have Upfire. So again, it's another beacons everywhere build, but that's fine. I mean, beacons are definitely powerful. Let's just set it running, and then I'll wander around and have a look at things. So there we go. There, out comes the iron and the copper. Goes into the smelteries. Flick over to the map. So we've got the copper smeltery here, we've got the iron smeltery up here, and presumably steel. Yeah, that's a horrible tangle of. I assume this is some sort of balancing system. Yeah, it's a 4-to-4 balancer, as is that, and not sure what's going on there. I think it's a prioritization of some sort. Okay. So some of this is going to come out here to be turned into steel. Fine, good. Down here we've got the oil processing as typical. So using productivity modules for the oil, fair. Actually for everything. Spitting out all the oils there. Get the solid fuel down here. We've got and into rocket fuels in the same column. Good. Yeah, I don't know how much more to say about this. Over here, yep, low density structures. I'll just let it flow, and I'll sort of look at things as they go around and see how they go. Alright, so yes, as ever, green circuit production here. This is so out of curiosity, is that the correct ratio when you've packed everything full of productivity modules? Does green circuitry become 1-to-1? Oh, and then and again, productivity modules so just pouring a flood of this down here. So yeah, normally it would be 1 cable machine to 6 red circuit machines, but again, as I say, the productivity modules is going to throw all of that off quite spectacularly. And this does seem to be getting no, that's pretty more than it needs to. Okay, cool. We've got the green circuits coming in here. I don't see any plastic yet, and plastic has been a big problem. Plastic does not seem to be working here. Yeah. Oh, I don't see what's going on. There's a shortage of power there, but I don't think that's not crippling everything. Oh, was it different numbers of speed modules as well? That's oh yeah, there would be because the way the beacon's going. Yeah. So that's coming across. Ah, here's your problem. You put too many beacons in, and you couldn't get that underground pipe from there all the way to here. So there's no light oil, there's no petroleum gas being pumped through to here, which means there's none coming up here to get to the plastic. Right, let's. No, I'm in that wrong mode. Let's come down here and fix that. Because as I say, that's limited your entire factory. Your red circuits are not being built, so your blue circuits aren't. So and yeah, etc. 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 So I think this is going to be a go in and fix. So along here, I could probably move. Yeah, you're only 1 square out there, but if I do that, then the petroleum gas starts to flow. You've got plastic all of a sudden. You've got sulfur. So sulfuric acid was technically a problem as well. Yeah, unlucky there, Arp or Soren or whatever I should call you. Soren, presumably. I'm assuming that Arp is a surname. Okay, so now the plastic's starting to flow. This can come around here, and this should allow us to now start making red circuits and low density structures as well up here. Are you happy? You've got the steel, you've got the plastic, you've got the copper. Yes, they're running now, so they'll presumably pass it out onto. Oh, I see. It's going into the underground belt side loading. Fair enough. So it goes all the way up there. Comes back down here, over to here. So right over here we now have accumulators coming through. Great. Well, I mean they're going to be very useful for making the satellite. So sure. we've made the radars for that. That's fine. Over here we have nothing yet, but it'll maybe get there sooner or later. Low density structures are coming over here, but they're probably all getting. There's only some of them getting stolen by the satellite. So we're starting to fill up with low density structures. We're not getting through any rocket control modules. We are putting. That's just because we had to wait for the red circuits to get round here from where they're being made. Okay, that's fine. They're coming through. And a little trick. Oh, they've stopped again. The plastic looks like the plastic's broken again. Let's have a look. I'll have a look at the checkbox in a moment. Plastic has stopped because no petroleum gas. Because we've backed up on heavy oil. So your heavy oil cracking or storing, depending on which way you decided to do. I'm stuck. How did I get in here? How can I not get in and also not get? How could I have got in if I now can't get out? Right, I need a jetpack. So somewhere over here there is insufficient heavy oil being used up. Because the heavy oil does not appear to be connected to, well, anything. There we go. 2 fixes. The light oil output doesn't appear to be connected to anything either. Well, it's going down again, so it must be. Oh, it's going up the pump there. Okay, that is coming. It is being brought out. Okay, so once again, factory is now flowing. Why am I green? I'm not used to being green. Must be Soren's colours. No, the output is connected. This is the pump going up to here, going into this yellow, into this light oil belt pipe up here. It's a weird spaghetti way of doing it, but it does work. Rocket checkbox. I feel like I should count the rocket checkbox as only a half fix because it's such a minor thing, and it was a mistake I made. But that'd be somewhat cheaty hypocritically. Did you run out of landfill? I know you didn't run out of landfill. Everything's infinite, but yes. Okay, so now it looks like that the system is working. As far as I can tell, we've not got any rocket fuel through yet, though. Let's go and have a look at that. Oh, here comes the rocket fuel. It was just running late because I don't know, tardy rocket fuel apparently. So that's coming up here, being put onto that belt. Oh, it's probably a load of it got swallowed up by the satellite as well. So the first 30. There we go. Now we've got stuff coming in. Okay, so now that I think I've fixed everything, I'll reload it again. Upfire, and I'll try and remember to do all of those fixes and just set things working. So there was a pipe along here somewhere that I put in, like that. I needed to do the checkbox over on here. There was something else, wasn't there? Can anyone remind me what the other thing I fixed was? Because I'm sure there's a third thing, and I don't want to set it going until I've fixed the final problem. In order to, get it to run as quickly as humanly possible. Oh, it was no. Oh, it was this underground pipe over here. There we go. Yes, thank you, Peter. That's you. Yeah, you got that. Well, you got there before me because of stream lag, but got there. But I saw the message just after you said it. Right. Okay. So there we go. 3 fixes. Go. And I'm just going to speed this up now because we've had a look around the we've had a look around the factory now and learned how everything works. So over here, fuel is arriving. Low density structures are arriving, rocket control units are arriving, and they're all coming in fairly quickly now. Rocket control units seem to be the limiting factor, but I mean, rocket control units are big and expensive to make, so it's not too surprising. They're always looks like it's the speed modules coming in there that's the limit there, and the red circuits are the limit for that. And plastic is presumably plastic seems to be the limit for the red circuits being made. So, but yeah, everything is ticking through. We seem to not have had we've got a rocket, but it hasn't launched. We've got an auto launch with cargo. We've not got a satellite. Satellites are being put through. Oh, there's no solar panels. I don't see anywhere that's supposed to be making solar panels. This is where the accumulators are coming from. Oh no, there are solar panels. And they are not being made because they have no green circuits. Because this underground belt is the wrong way round. There are 4 things wrong with this factory. So over here, right? We need to bring out that. We need to fix the. We've gone too far. No, this belt, this pipe. Sorry. Like that. We need to fix the tick up here, and then we need to go all the way back down over here again to wherever it was that we're making the solar panels, which was in here. Yes, and turn around that underground belt. Right, now I'm cautiously optimistic this it'll work. And it was going so well until that point as well. It was everything. The rocket parts were being made nice and quickly. It just looked good. So there we go. We can start that running, and then I'll speed the game up again, like that. Right. So how are we doing? We are There we go. So it takes a little while for the first rocket control units to arrive, but that's because you need to go through all of the steps of making the green circuits, making the red circuits, making the blue circuits, making the speed modules. Well, that's a separate step, side step, and then making the actual rocket control modules themselves. So it makes sense that it takes a little while for that one to kick in. But once they have, the factory seems to run reasonably quickly. We've got, yes, we've made a rocket. There we go. I'm so glad I did a circuit condition thing to stop the thing it running, because I'd have hate to try to catch it at just the right time with it running at when running these factories at 1,000 speed, or whatever speed they actually run at, because it's definitely not running at 1,000. My computer can't do that. So over here we have a total of 41k. That's pretty good actually. That's about 10 minutes, I think. That's going to put you in one of the that's going to put you in the top 3. I would estimate, at least for runtime. What did I say? 40k. 41k is 11.4 minutes. But that was, unfortunately, that was 5 fixes. 11.4 minutes. And then I can page, export, place. Okay, so scores on the doors are yes, we've got a few people on the 5 fixes there, but 11.4 minutes, that puts you in, that is the third fastest factory. So I'd say you did well there. There are a few, oh, no productivity modules in the rocket. I didn't even check for that. You're quite right. Yeah, no productivity modules in there. So if you put productivity modules in your rocket silo, then you'd have knocked 40% off it by the time it got running. So it would have been high up. I don't think it would have been a contender for actually winning. Oh, was it only 4? Yeah, maybe you're right. It probably was only 4 fixes. Okay, I'll change that to 4. I'm curious. I'm going to run this with the productivity modules in there and see if we can see how fast it runs then, because I think that's going to be very interesting, and I think it could do very, very well. So it's productivity modules in there. So that's there are 5 things I'm changing. Oh, I didn't do the tick box. Yeah, run back over there. Spend all my time running around other people's factories. Auto launch of cargo. There we go. Then back over here we have this pipe. We have this belt. I apologise for going through and sort of focusing on your mistakes like this, Upfire, Sorum, but it's because I'm pretty sure your factory could do a really, really good time with these little tweaks on it. So I think it's going to be interesting to give it a shot and have it and find out. No, that one. Yep, that is running fast now. Okay. It doesn't actually. Does it tell me how far it's got? Oh, no, it doesn't. Products finished 0, but it doesn't tell me what percentage it's at. Oh, yes, it does. 77%, 80%, 90%, 100%. Rocket. Zoom. And that gives you a score of 34,000. So that's under the 10 minutes, but I'm not sure it's going to be the fastest. But it's going to be a slightly better third place than the previous third place. So let's say 34,000 was that? Yeah, 34. That's 9.4 minutes. Okay. So with the extra fixing, it would still have kept you in solidly in third place. So I'm not going to change the scores on there. But I'm going to say that well done. That's your overall design gets you third place. Unfortunately, your the mistakes puts it a little bit lower down. But still a good effort there. Right, now the moment I've been trying to put off for as long as possible, we're going to have a look at what sort of monstrosity Mike has made. Already we see that he's okay. So he's used the do you think he's deliberately trapped me in amongst all these pipes? He's used the locomotive, the cargo wagons as storage things trick. Oh my god. So okay, he's got round the lack of belts by using cargo wagons as chests and therefore long belts. Oh, and cars sometimes as well. Okay. I mean, this is what's going on over here? Oh, he's gone fishing as well. Right. Okay. Let's see how many fish Mike can catch in his in his run as well. I don't even know how to even. Right. So okay. So we're coming out of here. We're dumping all of the iron ore straight into this locomotive, into this wagon. So it's yeah. Mike did promise that we were all going to be horrified and appalled by the monstrosity he's built. Yeah. So oh god. So, yeah. Okay. This is even more of a monstrosity, the way he's crammed these in like that. That's just awful. So okay, so we're going to be smelting the iron along here, and then it's passing it straight back out again. And oh, he's got filter inserters along here to choose to set that these are all to be doing the iron ore. Is he sending the copper ore up the same set of train? He is sending the copper ore up the same set of wagons as well, and also no, not over here. Oh, good grief! You know what? Let's just start it running and see what happens, shall we? Because yeah, it's going to be once everything has got stuff in it and it's not flashing low power warnings everywhere. It's going to be a lot easier to read. So let's turn it on. Okay, so stuff is starting to come out. It's being loaded into all of the wagons. I'm just staying in map mode for this. Look at that. Right. Okay. So yeah, the iron ore is being passed up here, being turned into plates, which is then being resmelted down here. So we're getting this. Oh no. So goodness knows what he's doing. I'm not sure what these machines along the top are doing. Maybe they're passing the iron plates further along. Gotcha. Right, so we've got all these machines along here. They're taking so we've got the smelters doing direct insertion here. We're getting the iron ore coming down into one to make the iron, and then into here to make the copper wires, to make the green circuits. They're then going down into here, but we're also feeding out copper wires into here. And then presumably there's going to be red circuits being made somewhere. There's a lot more copper cable being made and being passed along here. Yes, so that's then being fed down here to make red circuits. So the green circuits are being passed in to make red circuits, and then the red circuits are presumably again trying to be put into these in order to make the speed module. So there we go, there's a speed module running. And then those are being passed over here. So, but also over here, we've got the green circuits coming around here, and cables as well. That's why he's got two lots of inserters running. So we've got the cables and the green circuits being made into red circuits that are being passed back across here. But then there's a pipe of sulfuric acid coming up over here that's passing that over to here in order to allow it to make blue circuits, which can then be put into here in order to make rocket control modules be passed back out again. Plastic is being passed all the way up here, and then these inserters are passing it from the wagon to here, where these inserters will pass it across to be then made into more red circuits. Okay. So down here somewhere, Mike is attempting to launch fish instead of satellites, by the looks of it. We've got okay, I didn't even look at this bit over here. What's going on here? Okay, so this is right. So further also, the copper ore is being passed around here, so is some iron in order to be made into copper and steel that goes into these to be made into the low density structures. I'm not sure why there's plastic in. Oh, there's plastic in here because we've got coal being fed along here, down here, through along here up to be made into coal, to be made into plastic, and then the plastic is also being passed through, going up here to be made into the low density structures, and as previously stated, along this row here with the low density structures that are also being passed. So he's passing the plastic up and the low density structures down. Okay. To then go along here, so the low density structures will make it to the rocket silo to be made into rocket parts, and the plastic comes up here to be made into red circuits. Okay. I think, yeah, I see how this, I see what's going on here. This is there? Mike did say, oh yeah, there is, you're right, there's a little belt of coal going on over here. Well, I don't know why he didn't just replace this with a handful of cars, but, it's yeah, the coal belt is going up here to make plastic over here for these red circuits. Presumably because he ran out of something. Brain space, maybe? I don't know why. Maybe he could have passed it over here and gone up the middle here, but then maybe there wouldn't have been room for these substations. Yeah, so he's done quite well, but there is, as you say, one belt running up the middle of here, which I nearly didn't notice. So thank you for pointing that out to me, Zeno. Over here, well, he's allowed to use pipes, so we didn't have a no pipes, no belts rule for anybody, because that would have been even more ridiculous. It's probably worth mentioning that this monstrosity did take him 4 hours to put together, as you can see on the scorecard there. Yeah, so oil processing is a bit more normal. He's making a massive quantity of petroleum gas here, much the same way I did. Presumably somewhere nearby there's going to be something that's making the light oil for the rocket fuel. We are somewhere making light oil for rocket fuel. Oh, okay, there's a couple up, there's some at the top here. No, yeah. This column is doing just petroleum. This column is doing the full thing. That's fine. What's he doing with the heavy oil? No, making that into solid fuel the way I did. Okay, cool. Right, so let's find out how it's getting on. Yes, I think there's no satellite. I think you're right, but I think what he's planning to do is launch a fish, because he knew he can't win anyway because he's an admin, so he thought he'd try and launch a fish instead, because that is a thing you can do. We don't seem to be getting any low density structures along here though, and we aren't getting very many rocket control units, so I think he's made a couple of boo-boos elsewhere as well, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix this. But over here, are these machines actually working? No, there is no copper making it to the low density structure production. There's no copper making it along this far either for these circuits. Yeah, that's not finished any. So I think what's happening is, yes, up here, the copper is making it along this far. The copper ore, that is making it along this far. Which I can't see any at the moment. Nothing seems to have any copper ore in it. I mean, it's being passed along here, and then up to here. Oh, yeah, okay, a little. It's really hard to tell. But clearly, some of it was making it along here and up here. But what I think is happening is that all of the copper is getting eaten up by these machines, and so none of it is getting passed all the way through to get up to here. A little bit of it did at the beginning somehow, and I'm not quite sure why. But yeah, so I think all of the copper is currently being turned into cables. So this does mean that if this was left to run forever, which I probably won't do, but if this was left to run forever, I think eventually enough of the buffers around here would fill up. But the problem is you're going to have to fill up. So here we've got this is now filled up with copper cable. This is filled up with copper cable. Okay, so he's also put he filtered the cargo wagons as well. So what's going to need to happen is all of these wagons are going to need to fill up with copper cable before any of the copper actually makes it all the way up here. So I don't think this is going to work in a sensible amount of time, but I think that potentially eventually we will get enough copper coming around here that we're going to be able to start making the low density structures, which will get passed over here. And okay, so why aren't the rocket control modules working? Where they're being made here. So you've got your what's wrong with this? You've not got any blue circuits. So the blue circuits are not getting any green circuits. Green circuits should be being passed along here. So they're making it to here. Here's the problem. One of these inserter pairs should say green circuits on it, but it doesn't. So instead it's only passing copper wire through down here. Oh no, wait, those aren't filter inserters. So it's clogged up because he hasn't filtered through here, but the green circuits needed to come through here in order to make the red circuits, in order to make the blue circuits. Oh no, sorry. The green circuits need to come through here in order to make the red circuits and the blue circuits in order to make the rocket control modules. So it's a good attempt, and I think most of it would work given sufficient time. Sufficient time being a lot of time, because you'll notice we still don't have any... Oh no, we do have some low density structures now. However, we have got through some rocket control modules. Yes. So what's happened is early on, some green circuits made it through here because these are green inserters. So some green circuits did manage to make it through, which is how we've managed to make the first 7 rocket control modules. Then these these things filled up completely with copper cables, and these inserters are all holding copper cables, trying to put them into the next wagons along. So it isn't actually ever going to work because the inserters are deadlocked. If I replace, okay, I've been fixing other people's factories, so let's fix Mike's as well, because I've worked out what the problem is. If I can I don't even know how to get at these to replace them. Uh, okay, so if I take all of these down here, I think it's just, yeah, just those ones. I don't have any bots to do this with. Now I have some bots. I don't have any. I don't have the arm. One moment, because this is sort of. I feel like I might as well go in and try and fix it, because it is a monstrosity. But I think I put a bit of effort into fixing other people's nonsense, so I'm going to put a bit of effort into fixing Mike's as well. Why are my bots not fixing anything? My battery. I don't have any power. Oh, it's charging up. There we go. Right. So now I need to. I need to program these and empty their hands as well. So you are to be green circuits. You are to be copper cable. Same down here. I'm not sure what's going on with the additional inserters down there that appear to be inside the wagon, but there we go. So now I think that should work. Maybe not. I can't mouse over. That copies to there and to there. Is there? No, there's only two of them in there, I think. This is a monstrosity. Mostly because it's just difficult to work with. But you also need to empty your hand. Give me that. So now if I put a wagon in there. Somewhere. Come on. Mike, I hate you. Oh, that's true. Yeah, sure. Seems all right. It's good enough. I can't get this wagon in. It doesn't fit. Oh, I saw a green there. There's like 1 pixel where it fits. There we go. Okay. I do kind of want to see if this will actually work, because I think it. Yep, there's a shortage of rocket fuel coming in now. Why am I debugging Mike's madness? Why are you sad? You're sad because you don't have enough solid fuel. You don't have enough. You don't have enough heavy oil. So he's only making heavy oil into the right. Okay, now he's run into the problem of too much, of not enough. You can't turn the light oil and heavy oil that come out of these things into solid rocket fuel. You run out of light oil. So I think I did paste on that wagon, didn't I? I'll go back and fix it in a minute if I didn't. Okay, so it's sort of it's a nice idea, but there's a few too many things wrong with it. But I do feel like I should try and at least let it finish. Oops. Oh, it went in the right place. Awesome. I think. No, it didn't. There we go. And then that. All right, so there we go. Now the rocket fuel can be built again because we're stockpiling the light oil over there. I don't know whether there's going to be enough in there, but is this even working? It is, just not very quickly. All right. Is that because there's too much petroleum as well? Yeah, the petroleum gas is filled up. Right. Okay. Well, 10 out of 10 for building a cursed monstrosity. Give you partial credit for that. However, unfortunately, your cursed monstrosity did not work, so only partial credit deserved, I think. There. Let's take out some of this as well, because I think that's the other problem. There we go. Now it's working a bit more quickly. So yeah, if you go through and you fix the wagon pass-through problem where you'd forgotten to put in the correct filter inserters, and fix the oil throughput problem by giving it lots and lots of tanks to dump into like that, then it kind of works. Kind of. What's it stalled on now? It's stalled on low density structures again. What's the problem this time? Oh no, it's still working. It's just being slow. I think. 8 and 97%. Yeah, I mean it's passing things through passing things down through wagons is actually quite quick because inserters have a decently high throughput. It's faster. It's much faster than belts because not only, for one thing, you've got the inserter passing from one thing to the other will pass an entire stack each swing rather than needing to pause and think about it between them. But also the everything you put into here will immediately essentially teleport from here to here, so you don't need to have. So yeah, it's much faster. It's much faster moving things around like that than it would be to use belts. However, this is car has filled up. It's got what? Ah, so he hasn't filtered what's in the car. So if I take some of that out like that, then we can start passing those along again, and then it'll start working. So yes, because he didn't filter the content, the inventory of the cars. So yes, there we go. Got a rocket. Yeah, maybe you can't filter in cars. I don't know. Oh, you can. He just forgot. He just forgot to. So that's on him. But there's a rocket. There goes the rocket. So yeah, he managed to make a rocket. So you know, partial credit. Well, managed to make a rocket after I went in and fixed lots of things. That's interesting. Apparently, the victory condition of Factorio is to launch a rocket, not to launch a rocket with a satellite in it. Today I learned. I was expecting that. I wasn't expecting that to be a victory. I was expecting to get the so long and thanks for all the fish achievement. But what's actually even more impressive is that despite having all of these inserters along here, Mike only managed to catch 4 fish. I'm not sure how many fixes that was. There was one up here with this insertory nonsense here. There was one down here with the not passing the low density structures through. There was this needs to be left for about 3 days in order for all the buffers to fill up, but that's not technically a mistake. Let's have a look at the time now. What's this? Let's see, only 650,000. That's not that bad. Granted, it didn't launch a satellite, but you know. Oh, okay, so he's only actually caught fish once. I can't stop the timer because he hasn't made any white science, so... yeah. Okay, so I shall update the scoreboard, because I suppose I probably should, even if he's doing weird things. Right, so not much has changed from the last one. We've still got who have we got in the lead? So still Syntaxis is in the lead without because for only requiring one fix and only taking 16 minutes to do so. Mark is currently in second place for again only requiring one fix but taking 15 hours. And we've got Peter in third place with 2 fixes, but then only 8.3 minutes, which is very quick. Very impressed with that. I suppose technically that puts me in fourth place because I only needed 2 fixes, but it took 47 minutes to run. And then Upfire, yeah, there's nobody on 3. So Upfire with 4 fixes and 11.4 minutes. So yeah, well done everyone from there. And then Tristan with his 6-hour run that took 5 fixes. Oh no, sorry. Then HTML with 1 hour 20 and 5 fixes, and Tristan with 6 hours and 5 fixes. The final thing we have to look at is not a valid entry for the game because this was one where Peter went in and actually just sort of worked on it and improved his factory to the point where it actually, you know, worked properly. So if this one DNFs, I will be very, very disappointed in him because he's, you know, practiced and played with it and stuff. But let's see how it does. So now this is definitely cheating. You put in extra. Okay, so this is clearly a how quickly is it possible to build a rocket, because he's clearly decided that the number of inputs I had along here was insufficient, so he's put in some extra copper, especially the extra copper, and some extra iron inputs. So that's definitely cheating. But never mind. I mean, it's all the whole thing's cheating, so it kind of doesn't matter. Then we've got some massive beacon smelting arrays. Oh my God, I think this is almost as cursed as what Mike built. It's just a massive conglomeration of smeltery up here. So yes, that's a lot of stuff. Then it's going to flood down here. We're going to make loads of green circuits. We're going to make loads of red circuits. Interestingly, it looks like the proportions you require are it requires more machines for making the reds. So and then not very many for making the blues. That's interesting. Then we've got some oil processing somewhere, I guess. Where's the oil processing? Oil processing down here. So these are, again, beaconed out the wazoo. Cracking down here, oil processing, making lots of plastic, making lots of solid fuel, and then rocket fuel, low density structures. Yeah, let's just set this running. It's probably not going to take very long, but I'm just going to set it going and see. So we get all of the ores flowing out here. You know, I reckon you could probably have saved about half the runtime on this build by moving. Basically, if you moved all of this down quite a long way to the point that the ore doesn't have to flow up, and then just brought the signal round from the rocket silo on cables, because that's instant, it would be much it'd be actually quite a bit quicker, because we wouldn't have this wait while this flows all the way around here. I'm sure this is a fantastically efficient and glorious smelting system, but it's possibly one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. Yeesh. But yeah, I mean, if it works but it's ugly, well, at least then it works. At least it means it works. So yes, we are getting a nice flow of steel out. We're getting several full belts of copper, and the copper is flowing, and iron's flowing in, copper's flowing. Yeah, we're getting stuff coming out. So this is going nicely. This is coming down presumably to the... Oh, this is presumably coming all the way down to the low density structures. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay, yes, I should. Yeah, Peter says I should read the notes he left me on Discord. You're right, I should, but I've run out of monitors. Let's go and find a Discord window. Here's a Discord window. Yes, I was supposed to be reading through what people have said as I was going through. So let's have a look. So Peter has said, where we go. Yeah, could spend a bit more time optimizing it. Yes, sure, but this is sort of a sensible point of doing it. So apparently this one's supposed to run in about half the time of what he built before. So I think yes, the only slack time in it is going to be the time it takes all of these ores to flow up here. I don't even know where we've got to. Okay, so let's have a look at the rocket silo, see how we're getting on at this point. So it's got a load of fuel, but everything else is still trying to get it over here. So we haven't made any rocket control modules yet. Because here we go. Here's the speed modules being fed in order to make the rocket control modules. Blue circuits are now just starting to filter out. $4.48, you reckon? Okay, well, we shall see. Oh yes, I did get your Yep, I've got your other versions, Syntaxis, the Chifeng. Yes, I should probably try running that one as well. Just yeah, for completeness. See what people can do in there when they ignore the rules. All right, here come the control modules. The satellite is not finished because it's waiting for the blue circuits. That's fine, I'm sure. I have every confidence that the blue circuits... Yep, here they come. I was going to say every confidence the blue circuits is going to find their way through. Right, 9%, 10%, 11, 12. Yep, the rocket control modules are now starting to flow in reasonably quickly. It goes to show, actually, how much time is spent in this game just waiting for belts to move stuff around, because Yeah, quite a lot. It took it took a significant amount of time for all the ingredients to flow up to here, and then once it got to here, it was then ages for the green circuits to flow through, and then for the blue circuits to finally find their way all the way around here. So I suspect that, yeah, once it's you've said that once you start launching rockets, it's one every 100 seconds, so about a minute and a half, just over. But these are, yeah. But the first rocket is going to take, well, you said 4 minutes 48. You're probably right. But it shows, yeah, that the fact that it goes from 4 minutes 48 to just fill up all of the buffers in order to get everything running, and then after that it's only 1 minute 40, so a full 3 minutes and 8 seconds less, just shows that shows how long it takes just to flow stuff around all the belts in a factory. So, here comes the rocket. Satellite is ready. Satellite is ready in time. Good. Interestingly, it's not loaded in more blue circuits. I'd have expected it to load in more so it's ready to do the next one, but apparently not. Oh, it's because you've... Oh, I don't know what it's... 16,000 so far. And... boom! 17,000. And it's... there we go. Everything has stopped. So that brings us to 17,000. I should probably find out exactly what that is at this point. So here I've got a thing where I can subtract 17,000, and we can find out from here that it is in fact 17,369, which is 17,369 divided by 3,600 is 4.82 minutes. 4.82 minutes. Where's my score sheet? Here's my score sheet. .82 minutes, which brings your total time to 2 hours 4.82 minutes, I guess. Right. Okay. Let's. Right. So that's that one. Let's have a quick look at Syntax's additional run, because I feel it'd be rude not to at this point. Grab that. Oh, there's the next one going. This is how fast the system is now once it's actually got up to speed. So let's look at downloads, rocket race, copy to saves. Yeah, so as I say, it goes to show how much time is taken to filling up all of the belts and all the buffers and things. But now we've just got, presumably this is now enough throughput to get you that. Yeah, these belts are, actually they're not all moving flat out, so you probably didn't need quite as many extra belts. I don't know, or is this that all of these are full and float? Oh, no, these aren't flowing flat out either. So Syntaxis has done something slightly different. Where is it? Rocket Race Optimized, that one. In that he's gone through and made it so that so it's only using the original belts that you're allowed to use. So this is his optimized and fixed version. So we'll set that running and speed it up a bit. Let's just go for 10 times. 10 times this time, because it's quick enough that when everything's working fine that I don't need to speed it up quite so much. So over here we have the fuel, and now we have low density structures, and now we have rocket control units. And the rocket control units always seem to be the last thing to arrive, and as I said, that's because they're the ones that are the most complicated. You have to make the greens and the reds and the blues, and then you can actually start making them. Oh yes, he's left treason as well. So yeah, there's an environmental award in there as well. I didn't do that. I just dragged a massive deconstruction planner across the whole thing and blew it all up, and just got rid of it all. Much easier. Okay, that's let's check the time there, and that's given us a time of 21,000. Or in total 21,454. 21,454 divided by 3,600 is just a smidge under 6 minutes. So it's a bit slower than Peter's one, but you didn't use as many input belts, so in a way that's... let me add you to the list here. So that was... that was, what did I say? 5.95 minutes. And yeah, these sort of times are kind of irrelevant because they're not obviously they didn't follow the rules, but they're certainly interesting to look at anyway. So yeah, thank you for doing those, guys. That was yeah, interesting to see the extra sort of comparisons. Get rid of that number because it doesn't really apply. Paid, export, place, OBS, show scores. Right, so there we go. That's the those are my final. Those are the final scores in there, with the two at the bottom showing what can be done if you go in and you sort of fix all of your mistakes and then try and then optimize things out as much as you possibly can. So it's interesting to note that my time was literally after I'd fixed my factory was literally 10 times longer than the than Peter's somewhat cheaty time. And this means that Syntaxis, well done. You win. You've got the factory that built the rocket in the best time with the built the factory built a rocket with the fewest number of fixes required, and you got the best time of the people who required the fewest number of fixes. That was a terrible sentence, but hopefully it gets over what I'm trying to say. So yes, well done. That's 16 minutes with a factory that you just put down blind. I don't know how much time you spent sort of trying to do the numbers and working out the maths for all of that. I don't know, but it did take you a while to build it. But you produced a very good factory in the end. Very impressed. So yes, you win the prize. That means you get a year of membership on the server. So that gives you little things like a week early access to any of the videos. Now that's not all video. It's videos that aren't one of the sort of the weekly update videos. So when I produce a GTA video or a tutorial or any of that sort of stuff, that's announced in the for supporters a week early. So you'll get those a week in advance, and hopefully and access to the supporters chat as well, of course. So congratulations there. Well done you, and thank you to everybody who took part as well. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. It was stressful yesterday, just trying to put everything down and trying to keep everything I was trying to do in my head at once and not screw up. And clearly I didn't manage the not screw up part. And then it was incredibly frustrating at the end when I went in there and realised I'd made two really obvious mistakes over here through just not checking things through carefully enough. And the worst thing about it was I spotted the mistakes within the sort of a couple of minutes after I'd submitted my entry. So if I'd just spent that little bit extra time thinking about it before I submitted it, I'd have put in the inserter here, I'd have put in the cable, and if I'd remembered those two things, those two stupid little things, then I'd have won. But then if everyone else had spotted the silly little things they got wrong, then they'd have won as well, or they'd have finished as well. So it's very easy to make a very small mistake and just completely screw yourself over. And that was, I have to admit, the sort of the point of the challenge. It was an exercise in how well can people do. How well can people get build when they can't check their builds as they're going along? How well can they do? How well can they how accurately can they build? What's their attention to detail like? All that sort of thing. So yeah. Oh, okay. So if you you say space exploration rocket parts are very different to the to building in vanilla. They require far more things to go into them. Although I suppose if it was for the satellite rocket, then maybe that would count to an extent. Yeah, I know exactly how you feel, Peter. I two stupid little errors. I missed out one inserter and then a cable. In fact, missing out that cable, it reminds me of many years ago when I was at school. I got 98% in an IT exam because the exam itself was absolutely trivial, but I lost one mark, which was worth 2% for forgetting to put my name on it, and then because the exam was so trivial, many other people in the class got 100%, so I came about 15th with 98% for a very simple stupid error like that. So yeah, it reminded me a bit of that. No, I didn't try the replay function actually, because it was sort of a thing I was going to do to go in and just make sure that people's runs looked fair and they hadn't been bringing in blueprints or anything like that. But to be honest, I don't think it's really necessary. It was sort of if somebody came in with some sort of crazy quick design that looked a bit too good to be true, then it was something I could look at to have a look at it. The replay function. So when you load a game, you can select it, and then you can press the play button up here. But unfortunately, because there was a version switch, it seems that it hasn't worked. So yeah, the basically my run through, or some run throughs, Mark's as well, because we've been playing together, so he's on the same version as me. So I could play Mark's run through back again if I downgraded my Factorio. But unfortunately, upgrading the version of Factorio you are on invalidates any saves and means so it's just broken, unfortunately. Yeah, so yes, unfortunately, the replays didn't work, but I made a snap decision sort of right at the end that okay, we can't have replays, c'est la vie. Better let's just get the competition up and running rather than and lose out on that. That was fun. Thank you everyone who's come along and joined me for that. And thank you to also thanks again to everybody who got involved yesterday and had a go. Well done, especially to Syntaxis for winning. That's very impressive. And I hope everyone has learnt to double check their inserter placement and make sure they've put in the cables where they should, and that their underground belts and pipes all link up as they should. This might actually have been good for us all because it might have taught us to be a little bit more careful with our the way we build and make sure that we put things in the right place. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll just carry on putting things down wildly and slapdashily and seeing how it goes. Right. I think I think I do want to organise more stuff in the future. One of the things I want to start doing is perhaps multiplayer runs for channel supporters. So maybe come up with a challenge. So there's one I'd quite like to. There's a couple of challenges I've got in mind that I'd quite like to do that I think might be fairly good fun multiplayer. Or maybe do it maybe again like this one and just see what sort of monstrosities people can come up with. So yeah, well, I think I definitely have some ideas for future runs, and I think some of them are going to be, as I say, multiplayer runs for channel supporters. So channel supporters are anyone who is a YouTube member or a Twitch subscriber or has made a donation through Ko-fi or Coffee or however you're supposed to pronounce that. And if you're trying to decide which of those to do, I'd much prefer you to do it through Coffee or Ko-fi. The link is in the on my YouTube, and if you can't find it, let me know on Discord, and I'll send you that. Because that way, I get to keep something like 98% of the money. Whereas if it goes through Twitch, it's something like 50%. If it's through YouTube, it's something like 80%, I think. Maybe 70%. So anyway, basically, I get more of your money if more of whatever you put in. I get more of it if it goes through the proper donation site. Um, Yeah, I think we all maybe learned something because, as I say, we learned where we slip up, where our attention to detail isn't particularly great, um, and yeah, Syntaxis well, he's won, so he's learned that he's the best at Factorio out of the people who tried. So yeah, he can take that away. Yes. Uh, I think that's more or less it. So thank you everyone for watching. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow me on Twitch, and possibly if you want, subscribe to Twitch and membership on YouTube, or as I said, go via Coffee because it's a more efficient way to put past money over to me. um, definitely better to do it that way if you're not sure which way you want to go, and you'll get basically all the benefits anyway. You'll get the membership on the Discord with that. And yeah, get to be part of all of this nonsense, and support me, of course. We'll be back. I was going to say on Monday, but no, Monday is in fact tomorrow with another space exploration stream. So that's myself, Mike, Tristan, and Mark working through space exploration with Crastorio 2. So that's that's the big stream on the channel. Then on Wednesday we'll have the Dyson Sphere program stream. That's a solo stream with me working out how to play Dyson Sphere program for the first time. I've got up to green science so far. No, got purple science up and working, but I've got some shortages of resources in there, so I need to go through and do some improvements in that. There'll hopefully be another GTA video coming out for supporters on Thursday, if I manage to make it in the rest of today. And there'll be one coming out for non-supporters, which the supporters have already seen on Thursday as well. So GTA videos are good fun. Check those out because it's great fun. Lots of a bit more action, well, sort of different sort of action to these sort of videos. And then of course next weekend we'll have all of the catch-up videos coming out again, and so yeah, check them out as they come out. I think that's all there is to say. Thank you to everyone who's once again who's taken part, whether it's through playing or through watching or through just sort of cheering on and bug fixing my designs as I was making them. And Thanks to the mods for squashing people. Oh yes, and I should say that's a good point, Mark. I should say that the channel is also sponsored by treefoil.be. So if you need a Factorio or a Minecraft or a mini factory, whatever the other game's called, or 7 Days to Die, or the other few games they support, if you need a server for one of those, check them out. Use the code Laurence Plays and you'll get your first month for free. So can definitely recommend that. They're the people we're using for our Monday night streams of Factorio with Crastorio and space exploration. So yes, thanks once again. Come along to all of that, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.